they're actually protecting these people. Now, it's only because back in the day they said that to keep the race strong, they did that. But now these days you can't do those things because it's not culturally accepted anymore. I mean, we've evolved our culture and our humanity to a point where these things can't be acceptable, but they don't have a choice either because they have to go by what the Bible says. So, I mean, they're trying to tell you where, you know, they're taking all this blame for no reason, all this pressure spiritually, and they're paying for it. They're being attacked, and it's right there, the pictures of UFOs and, you know, spacecrafts with flashing beams and these little tiny wings. I don't get that, you know. I mean, if you look at Supernatural, with Dean Winchester and Sam Winchester, and you could see that Castiel's wings are like 20 feet one way. So, I mean, or like 12 or 15 feet one way, and that's enough to support a human's body. So, I mean, like, you know, humans are smart. They're gonna show you what they want you to see, or they want you to guess what they're seeing. And when they show you pictures of UFOs and then pictures of the aircrafts that are propulsion technology versus advanced superior technology, which probably uses anti-gravity or some sort of quantum type of propulsion, not propulsion, because when they do those things and they go all around, that's not propulsion. It is propulsion, but I mean, if it's going negative and positive, I can't even explain what kind of stuff that is unless it's anti-gravity and gravity at the same time, as a form of energy movement, not propulsion. Propulsion one way. So, as mentioned before, we still possess these neurons of advanced spiritual knowledge, but cannot access them. Adepts can access these neurons by directly turning them on via telepathy and magic. Some use these neurons. Telepathy is very, very high level, because a lot of people, I mean, contrary to what people think, at this current state of time, the thoughts that other people have, I mean, you're going to get bored of them really quickly. I want to sleep with that girl. Doesn't make any sense, you know, so it's like, you start going crazy after a while. And it's all the same thing, so then the same thoughts, how the neural net works is that the same thoughts amplify each other. So, because of that, it just gets worse, you know. And on top of it, to become telepathic, there's rules too to becoming telepathic. You can't just read people's minds. It's considered rape. You can't just go in there and know what they're thinking and doing what they're doing, and it's not good. So basically, that's what telepathy is, and you're only allowed to have telepathy once you have magic. So I mean, that's based on 6th and 7th dimensional training. So some of these neurons can also be turned on with the assistance of drugs, but at the cost of leading to incorrect wiring or deterioration and eventual damage of the neuron. When we follow religious orders and not question the diluted scriptures, this is proof that we are genetically programmed to do what is dictated inside. We know when inside we know that it is absolutely wrong. This does not make us bad. Let me provide peace of mind. It is scientifically proven that our brains are mechanical and electronic. And like any program, if we are hardwired, we will most of the time do what we are programmed to do. With thousands of years of programming of hell, fear, and strict rules, all the programmer needs to do once in a while is trigger these faith neurons and the confirmation of heaven and all the terrible things that are done in the name of God is for heaven. Isn't that scary? It even gets worse, as when you go to sleep, all the feelings are confirmed visually and spiritually when you leave your body. When you return, you forget everything, as your brain is only left with neuron B. Neuron A, not neuron B. To interpret the information. As honest can be, the comprehension is in fact very close to impossible. So, again, you get frustrated. Now, what I'm telling you about that is that there are some people that use black magic too. And for instance, Hitler used black magic. Extremists use black magic, even though they don't know that they're using black magic, by using propaganda. Propaganda is a form of suggestion or a high proposition of brainwashing. Brainwashing is for people that are primitive in the way that they think, which is brainwashing. And brainwashing is by force. So, like what they did in the Manchurian Candidate, that's brainwashing. It's by force and it's against your will. So, but propaganda is open brainwashing, and it's bad. And the only way you could do that to an entire race of countries, of nations, is through using black magic, which he did. His chair had so many symbols of black magic, and in fact, he carried around the spear of destiny with him all the time. So, that guy was walking death everywhere he went. And it's without a mystery how he could avoid assassination attempts after assassination attempts. Even though he had body doubles, he still avoided them. You would think that they would send one a day, at least. It is important to recognize that we are not totally mindless beings. We do possess free will, but thousands of years of programming is extremely resilient and takes an incredibly inquisitive, open-minded, and educated, which is very, very helpful, to see beyond the religious dogmas. Ask yourself, as intelligent spectators, what it is about the Star Trek's Borgs, the Borg, the Terminator, Doctor Who's Daleks, called robots, and why we are associated with being evil and afraid. It is because they resemble somewhat what society looks like today. All because corruption reigns supreme in this world and people are dying from starvation. And the worst thing is that we are running out of resources and are addicted to oil. It seems that we are emotionless and something is wrong about everything. But it's okay, as tomorrow we can all have breakfast in the morning. As a race, we are given all the information, yet we need yet to continue to destroy our living grounds. To destroy our living grounds, our home, the earth. It is us whom are emotionless, senseless, and without logic. In retrospect, are we evil? Depends on who you ask. If you were to ask a computer, animals, aliens, and Mother Nature, yes, we're evil. Actually, humans are not evil. But because we are programmed into believing what we do as religious beings is correct, we are ignorant and yet very righteous, albeit in a senseless way, but definitely a strong of faith. Today our children are so intelligent that faith is no longer tangible, because the current religious knowledge absolutely does not equal what science is disproving about religion. Also, what little is left with one's belief is lost because religion cannot relate to today's culture and the logical integration of a religious global melting pot society. This creates a new religion rejecting a new generation rejecting religion, creates a loss of faith which produces confusion and fear, because spiritual programming disillusions them into rejection. What they believe, and it conflicts with what they know. This equals chaos, and the energies intermingle and they battle each other. And then, by default, it battles each other. So then the anger and the ignorance continues because heaven and hell are real. And yet, their intelligence of what's wrong with religion and your spirituality and belief and not in faith, because it's real, but they just don't understand it because they're too young. But they're correct, and you're right. Correct and right, two very different things. And in between is relativity, and it's not relative. It doesn't make any sense, the two, because the teachings are all wrong. They're not all wrong. What they are is that they're outdated, and they have to be changed and updated. And there are some secrets, and as painful as it is, all of the religious people are hiding them. And this time is coming now that these truths will be revealed, and very, very soon, within 2 to 3 months, you will see. And if our generation will not kill themselves, then theirs will. This was the purpose of Armageddon. Like the Atlanteans did once before, so too do they cull the strongest and prominent of the species. Like in the movie Deep Impact, all governments have been building secret underground facilities in preparation, but have stopped and instead are building galactic spaceships. Just like what you see everywhere, the cigar spaceships. That's old technology though, because we had those for 2,000 years. But what's actually happening now is that we're actually culling people to take into space, because we can't stay here. We can't. There's not enough food and not enough resources, so we have to take an army, many armies, many millions, maybe about 2 million in total, and to go separate ways, like the 12 tribes, and come back and bring precious resources. And 2 stargates is not enough. So, I mean, that's all we're going to get is 2 stargates. And, you know, quite frankly, we can only take that stargate onto Mars, just in case we get invaded. So one stays on Mars, one stays on Earth. They have a stargate. So, I mean, that's not enough. Before, we used to have a stargate in every country, every single country. So, we really need to see, we really need to change everything. And if we do that, then our world will evolve beyond scope. And we have to do this before 2029. I mean, if we don't do anything within the next year, actually more appropriately within the next 6 months, I don't even want to say anything, but it's going to be bad. And so 6 to 8 months, if there's nothing done by 6 months, and then 8 months comes rolling around, there's going to be some serious problems. But anyways, well, that's about it in a nutshell.